We good? All right, it's 5:30. We're going to call the meeting to order. Ms. Ruth, if you would please call roll.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman York.
Here.
Vice Chairman Salazar Garza. Here. Commissioner Miller.
Here.
Commissioner Mendel.
Here.
Commissioner Munoz.
Here.
Commissioner Hedrick.
Here.
Commissioner Budd.
Here.
Commissioner Cantu.
Here.
Commissioner Teichelman.
Here.
We have a quorum to
I'm going to go ahead and mention that the last item on the agenda, the Green Wing Investments, is going to be tabled. So we will still bring that item up if you're here to speak on that item, and you can do your public comment, but it will be tabled, so you'll have a chance to do that again. If you don't want to do it today, you don't have to. But that, like I said, that will come up at the end of the meeting with that item. For now, we're going to go ahead and open up the general public comment. If anybody has comments to make on anything not an agenda item, please step forward. Andrew, does it matter if they speak now or on the agenda item, if they're here for Green Wing?
I mean, typically for city council, their process is you can speak at the very beginning or you can speak for the item, one or the other, not both.
If it's tabled, you're not going to address it.
We would still have to read it into the record and we would still have it open for public comment tonight.
No, I want to speak whenever you're going to consider it.
That's at your discretion.
We don't need to be here at this point.
That's correct. Andrew, do we have a date for the next hearing?
Again, for the reasons of public notice, we have to open it for public comment tonight.
Understood, but if
so-
they want to come back next time, is there a date already set?
The applicant requested for a delay of a month. Now, any public commenter can speak tonight and at the future meeting. It's just you can't speak twice in the same meeting.
And if,
Yeah, I'd make a suggestion that if you have some comments that or some concerns that you might have, it would be helpful for y'all to go ahead and voice those out during the initial comment period, so that way the applicant can be able to hear your concerns and possibly, I mean, they're going to be meeting with the city to address other concerns, so they might be able to, you know, at least hear your concerns.
It looks like it's slated for.
Yeah, I would recommend you speak right now. Yeah, whenever he's going to open it up.
Andrew, is anything that they say now, will that be put into the record for the next time when it comes back, if they're not able to come back?
Yes, it'll be in the record, and also and hopefully they left their either phone number or email address on that sign-in sheet, or they can reach out to city staff via email, and we can read their comments into the record in writing if they wish to send them via email.
Okay. Does it matter if they do it now, or does it need to be in during the item?
No, it can be read in now or they can read during the item their
Okay.
comments.
We'll go ahead and let you come up. If you want to speak on Green Wing, you can now. If you don't mind, please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Amrita Wrights. I'm the owner of 1818 Graham Road in Flower Bluff. And I will be speaking tonight about the opposition of rezoning. Seems like we're going round and round on this, and I thought we already had settled this. I'm not sure why it's even being allowed and why the Development and Planning Department hasn't just kiboshed this. The incompatibility of the existing land use, which you all agreed upon previously. Rezoning this to RM3 disrupts an established character of the area and creates zoning inconsistencies with the nearby residential estates, which we have always lived. Traffic infrastructure strains, I don't think that's been looked at all, because I don't know if any of you have, except for Michael, taken that left out of Graham Road onto Flower Bluff and prayed to Jesus Christ for your life. Proximity to the military fly zone. We know it's not the actual fly zone, but it is the crash zone for their flight paths. Environmental and quality of life concerns. Prior denials in 2021 for this. Also, wildlife, no one ever considers that. So, parking, wastewater, traffic, and water usage. If anyone would like this, It's all of my opposition. I also created a plan which I would like to be considered for use of that property. And if I have to buy that property from Green, I will.
Turn off my mic. Can she submit that to you for the record? Thank you. Just make sure it's in the record so we've got it for the next time. And make sure staff has a copy for their discussions. Would anybody else like to speak today on Green Wing? Again, you can speak next time as well.
How you doing? I haven't been in a fight, but skin cancer doctor cut me up, so. So I live at 1721 Graham. My name is Carl Fols, and I live in a house, probably the third house developed in that very rural area. I think we only have, 22 houses on Graham and Whitner. Graham dead ends in the Oso Bay, and my house is the very end on the end of Graham. And then Whitner is a short road off, dead end road as well, and it's only got a few houses on it. So it's a very, very rural area, and some of my concerns are, of course, the traffic. As Amrita said, you know, we have the church they just built on right across from this property development. So on Sundays, Flower Bluff Drive is only one lane. There's probably 4 or 5 cop cars out there. They shut down the whole right-hand lane. It's hard getting in out at that time. But at 8 a.m. or 5 in the evening, our traffic is really, really bad as well. It's very dangerous to make a left-hand turn out of Graham Road on the Flower Bluff. So I'm concerned about all the traffic that this higher density apartments would bring. And, you know, we went through this back in 21, and we won the battle back then from apartments, high density, down to townhomes. And now we're going back at it again. So besides the traffic, let me gather my thoughts here. So besides the traffic, the Naval Air Station, I realized that they showed the boundary of the NAICS or whatever it is, right? So they've showed the boundary is just short of this development. But I can tell you, I'm retired. I'm outside my backyard all the time. I have those training planes fly right over that property, over my house, and even the very large C whatever 130s or whatever they are with the big 4 engines, they fly right over my house. So I would be really concerned to have high density in there. I think that'd be kind of a dangerous thing to put all them people that close to the Naval Air Station. And probably townhomes would be better for the folks that are at the Naval Air Station, the people that work there, the service guys. So that's all I got to say.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else want to speak today for the Green Wing agenda item?
Is that correct? I can speak now and at the next meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Oh. Okay. You gonna speak? Go ahead. Yeah, it's fine. What did you not sign in? because I was looking for it right there. Okay, I'll be brief because my name is Susan Ledka. I live at 1631 Graham, and I've lived out there since the beginning of time, unfortunately. I just have a couple of concerns, some of which they've mentioned. Again, the traffic is horrible. I sat before 5 o'clock trying to get out of Graham Road, and it was a full 5 minutes, and I was in a big truck, and I finally just kind of closed my eyes and drove, because that's the only way we can get out of Graham Road at this point. The traffic coming from the access road that it doesn't stop never gives us a break, and the traffic light down at Purdue doesn't really give us a break because there's all the people between there that are waiting for a little break that dive out. If we had another 12 or 1,500 cars, which 900 apartment units would generate minimum that, we're going to be in a real mess. One of the strongest arguments for changing the zoning on that property, and I realized that when the community development plan was created, and that was done by a bunch of people that worked really hard at it, trying to make a coherent plan, and this was sort of a property in flux because City Councilman Smith had started the process, so it hadn't been labeled anything. So it wasn't really targeted, but it definitely was not intended to be high-density apartments. That area was to be residential, but not apartments because they were concerned about the Navy. And the Navy issue is interesting because, yes, they're not in the ACUs, so of course any plane that comes is going to go, oh, I have to crash on this side of the ACUs, not on this side, because there's townhomes over here. And one of their strongest arguments was they were going to provide nice townhomes for the Navy flyers and their properties and their families. I don't believe 900 apartments are going to keep those flyers happy with their families. Several homes that are on our street, the Cass property, the Acuna property, and Amrita's property, are residential estates. Definitely, that's too severe a change going from residential estates to RM3, high-density apartments. That just doesn't work, not even if there's a 50-foot drainage ditch in between. That's kind of a ludicrous concept. Now, ours are not designated RM3 further on down the road because of when we were developed, but we're all on 2.5 acre or 5 acre tracts. And Mr. York, you probably know what the designation is, and I can't remember right now what we are designated, but we have the same characteristics as RE, as residential estates. Right now, I guess that's my strongest argument, except like Amrita, we get kind of tired of coming back and fighting the same battle. You know, if this was not a change that was good a year or two ago, then it's not a change that's going to be good now. So why are we reinventing the wheel? Why isn't the developer proceeding with these wonderful townhomes if that's what he wanted at that time? I realize it's all about money, but we're here looking at quality of life. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Good evening. My name is Kathleen Herndon. I'm a resident at 1659 Graham Road. I apologize for being a bit tardy. The traffic on the way down is a whole experience at 5:30. I am sure, as many of my neighbors have mentioned, so much about this, if you are a resident of the area, does not fit. I stand before you as an owner of rental properties, as a parent of children in that school district, and as a long-term Flower Bluff resident. That property is valuable because of that community. I stand before you. Does anyone move out to Flower Bluff because it is the seat of titans of industry? No, it's because it's the community. Anyone that goes to Flower Bluff goes there for the school district. So I don't care if they put it on the busiest corner of Flower Bluff Drive and SPID and tell you that they're going to go left. The reason people move there is because of the school district. The school district is to the right. And as a parent in that school district, I can tell you, as much as they preach to us, oh, property taxes, it's so good for the school. You know what's really great for the school? When the infrastructure is there, that it's safe for kids to go to school. My kids can't even load the bus on that corner because it's dangerous. Ask the school district how dangerous it is that they won't even stop the bus there anymore. That same street, Flower Bluff Drive, where these 900 apartments are going to take their kids to school, is the same street where people have died because there are not sidewalks, because there are not street lights. That area of Flower Bluff, the entire area of Flower Bluff has been neglected by previous administrations. So much so that the area isn't currently safe now. So the mere idea that you're going to add 900 units, and if you imagine that is maybe 2 parents and a single child, you're going to have that many people, and they need to go to school now. And one of the best parts about that district, the reason that people go there, is because of all their extracurriculars. You can almost get an associate's degree there. Their ROTC team is 1st in state, 3rd in the nation. But do you know when ROTC practice starts? It starts at 6 a.m. You know what it ends? 6 p.m. You know what doesn't run at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m.? School buses. You know what that means? That's more traffic on the road to get to Flower Bluff. That is more hazard. That is more dangerous. And you are taking... When my family purchased that land, there were 2 teachers, and my brother, when I was 5 and 8, we cleared that land. We dragged oak trees to the ditch because they were too poor to hire people. So our blood, sweat, and tears developed that neighborhood, that community. For God's sakes, I'm on a booster club board. How did that happen? That's what you do when you're there. Because that community, because those people are worth it. It's amazing. This deal, the residents here, we keep standing up here and begging you not to do this because it's bad for our community, because there's not a whole lot that those teachers and that the investors wouldn't do. And the rental properties that I have, when I do have Navy families come through and transient populations, they'll tell me, I tried to rent a house out here by the base, and when I got on Google Maps, I can't even tell. There's like an RV park, and then there's a subdivision, and then there's a commercial property. And I tell them, you know, there wasn't a lot of planning in the beginning, but there's hope. Because all of you guys, when you run, when you join, there's hope. We're going to make a vision. And you have. And the city has. And you've invested hundreds of hours and millions of dollars into these great visions. Okay, great, we have a vision. And then someone who doesn't live here comes in with a check and tells you, it's cool. Let me develop some stuff. It'll be great. And the citizens come before you and beg you not to do it, please. Because it is not safe. Because our school district is busting at the seams. There's not enough place for the children that they are now. I love real estate. I've been involved in over like 80 local rehabs of dilapidated properties. And I love seeing what that does for a community when you clean it up. But who wants to invest out here when you sell us out and it drops our property value? Just as she said, they're multi-acre properties. Nobody wants their 2-acre property, and they're selling brand new construction on $500,000 properties on half-acre lots. Beautiful things. They generate tax revenue by putting the lowest impact on our infrastructure, on our school district, on our roads, the painful lack of sidewalks or drainage or streetlights that puts a hazards on our citizens. We can't take this. We're not safe now. Adding 900 units is not a viable option, and it's not necessary. People are making a lot of money developing land out there, and it doesn't have to be apartments. I love that Corpus says we're going to have a vision. Let's follow the vision we made, please.
Thank you. Anyone else for Green Wing or any other general public comment? Okay, seeing none, we will close the general public comment and move on. We have no approval of absences, so we'll move to approval of minutes for the December 11th meeting.
So Commissioner Mandel, I move that we approve the minutes from December 11, 2024.
I second.
All right, got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Going to move on to consent public hearing, items A, B, and C.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For the record, Andrew Demas with Development Services. Starting with item number 2, Driscoll Industrial Tracts, Block 1, Lots 3 through 5. Item number 3, Oakhurst Plaza, Tract 8A and 8B. Item number 4, Mirabella Community Center. All of these 3 plats, staff recommends approval as they are consistent with the Unified Development Code as well as Texas Local Government Code. Moving on to time extension, item number 5, Azali Estates Unit 3. This would be their first request. Staff recommends approval. Item number 6, zoning case ZN 8539, 2AVH Callan LP, which is located in District 1. The request is from the FR Farm Rural District to the CG2 General Commercial District. Staff recommends approval. That concludes tonight's consent agenda. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to address them.
All right. Commissioners have any questions for staff on items 2 through 6? No?
I had a question on number 6. So they're looking to rezone it to CG2. What kind of buffer zone are you proposing? Because there's RS6 on the west side of this property. Are they going to do any kind of buffer zone? And then is there going to be any kind of like a noise barrier fence requirement? I know we've done that for properties on Yorktown that get the same type of zoning.
So anytime you have an adjacency of general commercial next to single family, it requires a 15-foot and 15-point type C buffer yard. So that means they have to put up a fence. It could vary in height from at a minimum of 6 feet. For additional points, they can go all the way up to 8 feet. That would include also a 15-foot buffer yard. So that's that separation minimum requirement. If they, depending on the height of the structures that may or may not be built, that also kicks into that separation requirement, since we have a 2-to-1 setback, so you never have someone looking into someone's backyard. And that's 1. And then 2, if they have what's called a noise generator, meaning dumpsters, delivery alleys, distribution centers, if any of those border, they have to increase that rear wall to a masonry wall. So yes, buffers would be installed.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? All right, seeing none, go ahead and open up the public comment for items 2 through 6. Don't see any public comment, so we will close that and entertain further discussion or a motion.
Make a motion that we approve items 2 through 6 as presented by staff.
I'll second.
All right, got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. I'm going to go ahead and, Andrew, if you'll read in item number 7 to the record.
Yes, sir. Item number 7 is zoning case ZN 8512 Green Wing Investments, located in District 4. The request is from the RS6 Single Family 6 District to the RM3 Multifamily District. The applicant emailed us back on Monday requesting to table the item for a month. And since we're essentially, a month would put us between 2 meetings, that would either be the February 5th meeting or the February 19th meeting. We do need to table to date certain, so we do not have to renotice and send out another round.
You said February 9th or 15th?
It would be the 5th or the 19th.
5th or the 19th. Guess I'm dyslexic.
Andrew, I have a general question about the item, and hopefully you can save me digging back through agendas back in 21. But is Green Wing the same applicant as before?
No. It's technically a different owner. Originally, it was the Smith family that was the first applicant. The new applicant, it's under an LLC, so it has various registered agents. None of the names match the previous applicant. But so for all intents and purposes, it's a new owner.
It's a new, and the property has changed hands?
Yes,
Changed
officially.
hands in 21 though, which is when that last zoning case was. So I don't know if they were involved or just bought it after that change.
Yes, the zoning case was in May of 21 and the property conveyed in November of 21.
I could care less who owns the property or who's potentially buying the property or whatever. Obviously, we're going to look at this based on the merits of the the neighborhood, the character of the neighborhood, and the current zoning and other considerations. But if anybody that was here previously earlier tonight goes back and watches this video, I just wanted to make it clear that it's not us coming back to the community and saying, let's do apartments there. Anybody can buy a piece of property and request a zoning change on any piece of property anywhere in the city of Corpus Christi. And so it's our job to hear that request and make a determination on it, and then make a recommendation, not a decision. So,
yes, sir.
Just wanted to make sure that that was clear.
Anybody else have questions on this one? Go ahead and open up the public comment for item 7, and just for the record, I want to make sure we get all the public comment from earlier put in and attached to this item so it can go forward to the next date, which I guess will be decided soon. So anybody else want to speak? Seeing none, we'll close public hearing. Entertain a motion. Looks like we can do, well, the request is for a table, either 2.5 or 2.19. Maybe better to take 5.
I'll make a motion that we table to February 5th.
I second.
All right, got a motion and a second to table the item to the February 5th meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion passes. Takes us to director's report.
Fortunately, no report tonight.
All right.
Happy New Year.
Anybody have any future agenda items? No? We are adjourned.